Good morning, students. This is class 11th physics, chapter number 4 and lecture number 1. Okay, so today's chapter is motion in a plane. In this lecture, you will be studying about the topic vectors. So, vectors are those quantities which have magnitude as well as direction, and they follows vector law of addition. This I have told you in your last chapter also, that vectors have magnitude as well as direction and they follows vector laws of addition. For example, velocity, displacement, acceleration, all of them are vector quantities. Okay, so the next is representation of a vector. So vector is always represented by a arrow, where this shows you the magnitude and this arrow shows you the direction. Okay, so to represent a vector, we always draw this line and this arrow. The line will show you the magnitude and the arrow will give you the direction. Okay, this point is called the tail of the vector and this point is called the head of the vector. Okay, so this is the representation of a vector. So let us study some important terms related to vectors. So the first term is modulus. Magnitude of a vector is called modulus. Okay, so now you know we represent a vector by this sign. To represent modulus of a vector, this sign is used, that is the lines and the vector inside those lines, or you can simply use A. Okay, so the magnitude of a vector is called modulus. Next is unit vector. Unit vector is represented by this sign, that is a simple alphabet and a cap on it. So this is called a unit vector and we called it a cap. Okay, so unit vector is that vector which has a magnitude of 1. Okay, and it tells about the direction of any vector. Okay, so unit vector has magnitude 1 and it tells about the direction of any vector. Okay, so now how we write down unit vector? We write it as, okay, so we can call unit vector as direction also. Okay, so we can say direction is equals to vector upon magnitude. This is the vector A, this is the magnitude of A, and this is the direction of A. So direction is equals to vector upon magnitude, or from here you can write down A vector is equals to A cap. So any vector can be written like this, that is its magnitude and its direction. Okay, so the next is equal vectors. The vectors which have same magnitude and same direction are called equal vectors. Okay, next is collinear vectors. The vectors which lie in same plane are called collinear vectors. For example, look at these two lines or these two vectors. Let's say this is vector A and this is vector B. These are lying in same line and they are parallel to each other, so they are collinear. Now look at these two lines. See, these are two vectors which are lying in same line but they have opposite direction, or you can say they are anti-parallel to each other. So collinear vectors can be either parallel or they can be anti-parallel also. Okay, so next is coplanar vectors. The vectors which lie in same plane. So here co means same. The vectors which lie in same plane will be your coplanar vectors, and vectors which will lie in same line will be your collinear vectors. Okay, so the next is null vector. Null vector is a vector which has a magnitude of 0. Okay, anything which is 0 is called null, so therefore we call a 0 vector to be null vector. Okay, so now as I told you, unit vectors gives us direction and we write it as A cap, B cap, C cap, anything. Okay, so now let us suppose these are your axis coordinate, that is x, y and z. Okay, so this is your coordinate of axis. Now to represent any direction in x, we use I cap. That means I cap is a unit vector for x direction. Similarly, j cap is the unit vector for y and k cap is the unit vector for z. For example, if I am saying there is any vector A which has a magnitude of 2 and it lies in x axis or x direction. Okay, so now you know A vector is A into A cap, as I have explained you in unit vector. So if I am saying its magnitude is 2, so magnitude of A is 2 and it is lying in x direction, and as you know unit vectors gives you direction and I cap is the unit vector for x axis, so we will use I cap here. So any vector can be written in this form. If suppose I am saying that vector is lying in I cap and j cap also, that is if it is lying in xy plane. So here we will use 2i cap plus 2j cap because now it is lying in y axis also. Okay. So these are the used in particular axis I cap, j cap and k cap. Okay. Okay, so the next is position vector. Position vector basically tells you about the position of any vector. For example, let us suppose this is your xyz plane. A vector or a point A is there in this plane. Okay, so position vector is drawn from the origin to that particular point. So I have drawn a line from origin to A. This is called our position vector, and to determine it, we write it as r is equals to xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. That is, x, y and z are the particular magnitudes in x, y and z direction, and these are the unit vectors. Okay, so we write position vector like this: r is equals to xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. Okay, if suppose now this A is only lying in xy plane, then this component will not be there because it is only in xy plane, so only I cap and j cap component will be there. If this vector is only xz plane, then this component will not be there, only xi cap plus zk cap will be there. Okay, so this is your position vector. Now next comes vector addition. Okay, so vectors are not added like scalars. For example, when we add scalars, we just do 2 plus 3, 7 plus 8, 10 plus 12. We do not talk about their direction. But because vectors have direction also, so therefore we have to consider direction also. So let us see here. See, these are the two vectors A and B. Initially, they are in same direction. Let us suppose A vector is equals to 2i cap plus 3j cap and B vector is equals to 4i cap plus 5j cap. Okay. Now, if it is asked to add these two vectors, okay, so to add these two vectors, we have to do A plus B. Now, because they are in same direction, we can simply add them. That is 2i cap plus 3j cap plus 4i cap plus 5j cap. Okay, now how we will add them? Only I cap terms will be added to each other. Similarly, j cap terms will be added to each other. So here 2i cap plus 4j cap will be 6i cap. 2i cap plus 4i cap will be 6i cap, and 3j cap plus 5j cap will be 8j cap. Okay, so remember this, only I cap terms will be added to each other and j cap terms will be added to each other. Okay, now suppose if they have opposite direction. Now look here, A and B are now having opposite direction, and now again it is asked to add these two vectors. So we have to do A plus B. So A is nothing but 2i cap plus 3j cap plus B. Now to add this to A, they are in opposite direction. So we have to use a negative sign for B if I am considering direction of A to be positive. Okay, so listen it again. I am considering direction of A to be positive. Therefore, when I'll add these two vectors, because B is in opposite direction, so I will use a negative sign for it. Negative of 4i cap plus 5j cap, which is B. So when you will open the brackets, it will become 2i cap plus 3j cap minus 4i cap minus 5j cap. And when you solve it, you'll get minus 2i cap minus 2j cap. Okay, so this is the role of direction in vectors. If the vectors are in same direction, they can be added as it is, but if they are in opposite direction, you have to choose one direction which will be positive and other vectors will be chosen accordingly. Sorry, their direction will be chosen accordingly. Okay, now as I told you, this is the position vector. Now if I want to calculate its modulus, or you can say its magnitude, so the formula to calculate magnitude of any vector is this: you will use a under root x square, that is the component of I cap, component of j cap is y plus y square, and component of k cap is z, so plus z square. So this is the formula: under root x square plus y square plus z square. Okay, so similarly as A plus B you have calculated when they were in same direction, that was coming to be 6i cap plus j cap, 8j cap. Now if I ask you what will be the magnitude of A plus B, so magnitude of A plus B will be equal to under root of 6 square plus 8 square. Okay, that is component of I cap ka square plus component of j cap का square. Okay, so 6 square plus 8 square, that will be 36 plus 64, so that will be giving you 10. Okay, so this is how we calculate modulus or magnitude of any vector. Okay, so the next is whenever we multiply a scalar quantity with any vector. Whenever you multiply a scalar quantity with any vector, it will be written as 2a. That is, it will be multiplied with each component of that particular vector. For example, if a is 2i cap plus 3j cap, and if I am multiplying a scalar quantity with it, it will be multiplied with both of it. That is, 2 2s are 4, 4i cap plus 3 into 2 is 6 plus 6j cap. Okay. Okay, so the next is resultant vector. Resultant vector is also, it is always denoted by R. Okay, so now if I say A and B are two vectors, okay, and if I want to calculate the resultant, then let us suppose C is giving its resultant, so this will be the resultant vector. So basically resultant vector is that vector which gives same effect as it is given by two individual vectors. That is, A and B will be giving some effect, and this vector will take it as R only. Okay, and this vector R will also be giving some effect, and the effect of A and B will be equal to effect of R, because R is the resultant vector of A and B. Okay, so now we will calculate how to calculate this magnitude of this resultant vector, for which there is a law called parallelogram law of vectors. Okay, so let me read this parallelogram law first. It states that if two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram drawn from a point, then their resultant vector is represented by the diagonal of parallelogram drawn from same point. That is, if I take two vectors and if I represent them by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram which are drawn from a same point, then for example, you look here, see like this. I have taken A and B to be two vectors which are nothing but adjacent sides of a parallelogram, and they are drawn from a same point, this. Okay. So now according to parallelogram, the resultant of A and B will be represented by diagonal of parallelogram drawn from the same point. Okay. So if I am completing this parallelogram, so this will become a parallelogram. So now this diagonal will give you the resultant of A and B. So this is your parallelogram law of vectors. Or you can understand it carefully. This is your A vector, this is your B vector, and this is a parallelogram. A and B are nothing but two adjacent sides of a parallelogram. So the diagonal of this parallelogram will give you the resultant vector for A and B. So R is the resultant of A and B. Okay, so now let us calculate this value of R. For this, let us suppose angle between A and B is theta, and angle between A and R is alpha. Okay, so now look here. Again, this is the same diagram. A, B vector, R vector, angle is theta, this angle is alpha. Okay, now I am drawing a perpendicular from N to A vector, and I am extending this line. Okay, so this is a perpendicular drawn, this is your S, this is your N. Similarly, I am drawing a perpendicular from this point H to R vector. This will be the point P, this is your H. Okay, now look clearly, this is your A vector and this is your B vector. Angle between them is theta. Similarly, this vector is parallel to A and this line is parallel to B. So this angle will also be theta. Okay. Now, to calculate the value of R, let us calculate, let us see in triangle ONS. So let us ONS. This is a right angle triangle. So if I use Pythagoras theorem, ON square will be equal to NS square plus OS square. Okay. Now let us calculate the, see, ON is nothing but R. So now let us calculate NS and OS separately to get the value of R. Now in triangle HNS, that is in this triangle HNS, let us calculate the value of sine theta. So sine theta is perpendicular upon hypotenuse, that is NS upon HN. Okay, so sine theta is NS upon HN. Now this HN is nothing but B, because this is the line parallel to B only. So HN is equals to B vector. So sine theta is NS upon HN. ns is, I am keeping ns as it is, and hn will be b. So from here ns will come to be b sine theta. Okay, now we need os also. So to calculate os, let us calculate cos theta in the same triangle. So cos theta will come to be hs upon nh. I am keeping hs to be same and nh is again b. So hs will come to be b cos theta. Okay. Now look here. On square is ns square plus os square. Okay. ns we have calculated, it has come to be b sine theta. So ns is nothing but b sine theta. Now if you see os in the diagram, see os is nothing but oh plus hs. So OS is nothing but OH plus HS. If you look clearly, OH is A. This is A vector. So OH is A and HS, as we have calculated, HS is come to be B cos theta. So OS is, OS is A plus B cos theta and NS is B sin theta. Now put the value of 2 and 3 in 1. So ON is nothing but R. So that means R square will come equal to b sin theta whole square plus a plus b cos theta whole square, which we have calculated from these. Okay, so r square will be this. Now solve the square terms. So r square will be equal to b square sin square theta and a plus b cos theta whole square. So if you will solve that square term, you will get a square plus b square cos square theta plus 2ab cos theta. Okay, now I am writing a square as it is. Now look clearly here, b square sin square theta plus b square cos square theta. If I take b square common from them, you will be left with sin square theta plus cos square theta. And this is the identity of a trigonometry, that sin square theta plus cos square theta is always equals to 1. Okay, so sin square theta plus cos square theta will be equal to 1. So you will be left with a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Okay, so from here r will come to be under root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Okay, so this is also called your cosine law. Okay, this result is also called cosine law. Okay, now if I calculate tangent alpha in the same diagram. So tangent alpha in triangle again ONS will be equal to perpendicular upon base. So perpendicular is NS and your base is OS, and we have calculated both these values. So tangent alpha is NS upon OS. NS, as we have calculated, it is B sin theta, and tangent alpha OS is A plus B cos theta. So from here we can calculate the direction of the resultant vector. Now as alpha is the angle with A, so if you calculate the value of tangent alpha by using these things, then you can say that angle alpha is made with A. Always remember, alpha is the angle made with A vector of your particular resultant vector. Okay, so from this you can calculate the direction of resultant vector, and from this you can calculate the magnitude of resultant vector. Okay. Okay, so after going through this lecture, you can do question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7 from chapter number 4 of your NCERT book. Thank you.